Well, the stressful part of the day is over for the most part. We still got to get Ava to school. So, here's the trick. We have to get up. Everybody has to get outdoors, especially today. Now, some days Amy takes Ava over to high school, which she's going to Walsh Jesuit now. And then those days, I'll take the kids to Barnabas, which is kind of on the way to Northfield Park. But there are days when I've taken them to both places, and I got it down to a science now. Amy doesn't like the science behind that particular plan. Now, my plan is to leave the house at 7:10. If we can get out of there at 6:50, great. We go to Brunswick, Starbucks. If we get out of there anytime before 7:10, we have to go to the Macedonia Starbucks, which is fine either way. Drop the kids off. As long as we have the kids to school at 7:55, they're early for St. Barnabas, and it's a 13-minute drive. Now, here's the tricky part. Ava's school, for some reason, they have two schools on the same road. And you said they stagger the start time, right? They stagger the start times to try and help. There's a lot of traffic. But there's a lot of traffic for people like my lovely wife that want to get there 25 minutes early. For the people like me that want to get there 5 to 7 minutes early, no traffic. None. As long as we get onto that road at 8 o'clock or later, there won't be a problem. Now, I've heard these horror stories of traffic going to Walsh, and I've seen them one time last year when I took Ava there. What was it called, honey? For a shadow day? Shadow day. I saw the traffic, but I haven't seen it since. So we're going to put my plan to the test today. My plan gets her there at 8:09.
If she ever has to be there at 7:30, you have to drop her off at 7.
Oh, no, I believe that. Yeah, no, that's probably true. But I've never had her late. I dropped her off 7:30 once. Not a problem. We just flip-flop the drop-offs. Yeah, so we just drop her off first and then the kids. Anyway, God love my wife. She's a little stressful getting the kids to Barnabas, but we got there. We got our Starbucks. We got to Barnabas. We are on our way to drop Ava off right now at Walsh, and then we're going to the sale. Now, for those of you quickly doing the math at home, you'll realize that gets us to the sale late. Normally, that would be incredibly stressful for me. I don't have any horses until the 40s to look at. One horse pre-hip 40 is on my list, just one. And Steve and Rob and Randy are there to look at the horse and make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks, if you may. But I am very, very happy with,
Maybe we can do a burnout in the Starbucks friggin' line and then rush there to find high hopes again, because that was a fun time.
I don't think, one, there was no burnouts.
Oh yeah, you literally sprayed gravel.
You know, it was funny. I said to the ladies, now I'm going to be coming in a little bit late to the sale. If you ladies would like some refreshments, you're going to have to text me, the girls in the office. I said, you're going to have to text me and put your order in. I'll be getting there around 10:30. And Cindy looked right at me and she goes, are you going to be running in the back door with your hand up bidding on a horse? Because 2 years ago, and it wasn't my fault. It might be important to give that little caveat.
Why does someone need to be at fault?
It's just, when you have a story like this, there should be some fault given. So we were going to Starbucks for the sale. We were looking, the first horse we were looking at was a hip 10?
12.
Hip 12.
I actually wanted to miss the horse on purpose.
Oh, did you? Hip 5 or 6 was in the ring, and I was like, we have tons of time, like 12, 15 minutes. We'd already ordered our drinks, she had to go pick them up. So, and the Starbucks is literally, it's in a grocery store just down the street from the sale. We're in the sale, or we're in the thing, I'm getting the drinks, getting the straws. I have my phone on, watching the sale.
There's 4 outs.
Hip 7, hip 8. Outs, hip numbers 8, 9, and 10 are out. Hip number 11 coming in the ring. We're buying hip 12. I run out of the Starbucks, jump in the car. There's drinks everywhere, flying, peeling. I literally, and this is swear to God truth, literally drive right up to the back door of the sale. So it's an arena, so there's doors everywhere. There's no parking there. I drive right up to the door. I jump out. I walk in. Hip 12 is in the ring. I walk in. What'd she go for? 12,000? 11, 11.5, 11.5, 11.5. I walk in the ring and I kind of walk right through a few people. I put my hand up, 12, and the hammer goes down. I got her. I turn around and Ronnie Burke's there and he goes, "You are a lunatic." That's all he said. That's all he said to me. The car is right there at the back door, and I walked right in and bit on the horse. Now, it would have been a great story if she was a good horse.
And she kicked you.
And then she kicked me. That was vicious. That was as hard as I've been kicked in a while.
Who was it?
High hopes kicked me right in the, almost got me right in the jewels. Kicked me right in the pelvis area and big blue bruise on it. Man, she wasn't playing around too.
Nasty.
Yeah. I'll tell you what used to be nasty like that was obviously the Cherries girl. I trained her yesterday on the race bike. She has turned into the sweetest horse. Do you remember you couldn't train her by herself? She'd pull up. I trained her 2.5, come 28 seconds yesterday. Her ears never went back, not once, the whole time she trained. Pulled up, she's playing with her head, she come back. She has turned into a sweet filly.
She's always just, she's not nice to other horses. She's nice to people. Well,
She broke Carlos
yeah, but
pelvis.
she was trying to kick another horse. Carla
Except for
wasn't
that one time where she broke a human's
Yeah, but
pelvis.
Carla was-
Other than that, she's been a
Carla
sweetheart her
was
whole life.
standing in between her and another horse.
I get it, but still, she opened fire.
Remember when she broke your dog cart?
When?
She bit the shaft like it was a freaking. Remember?
Not really,
Oh
no.
my gosh, what a terrible memory. It happened right before she qualified.
I don't remember.
Tried to walk a horse by her.
Anyway, she's turned out to be an absolute sweetheart. She trained great yesterday. I'm excited about Jug Week because we do have a couple of horses that are coming in off the virus. Highest honors was a little flat yesterday. Now, somebody said, well, is he going to be okay? Well, I mean, I trained him in 2 minutes last corner, 28 seconds. He was very good, but that snap speed that he has, that I know he has, just wasn't present yesterday. And we had got their blood back and his differentials were flipped. We had some issues we're working on, but Dr. Gillis was literally in the barn. Dr. Latessa is doing x-rays for babies down in Columbus, or down in, what's that town? Circleville. And these other two veterinarians are working everywhere. Dr. Gillis was in the barn yesterday. God love her. She sat there and this is where we get off Season's Road. We got there, she got to the barn to drop off bloods and look at a horse, and she ended up being there for like hours. She went over a number of horses, did a lot of vet work on horses. You know, we talked about a game plan for next week for Jug Week because Dr. Latessa is also down in Delaware for most of the week. So it's a very difficult time of the season.
When does that start? Sunday?
Sunday. Diosa Della Donza is in the 19th race on Sunday.
Did you let the sheriff know?
Well, I didn't do anything wrong. He's probably saying that guy's pretty cool. So it starts on Sunday. Diosa Della Donza do the 4-hole in the 19th race, and then we have horses in Sunday night also. I won't be able to watch Jailbird Jog race Sunday. And here's the thing: is that, you know, ultimately Eric knows the filly as good as anybody now. Tim Tetrick knows the filly as good as anybody now. There's no real necessity for me to be there. And when it comes to Diosa Della Donza, she is a little tricky. And I don't want anything less than a perfect performance from her. So I feel I should be there to race her. So I will be in Delaware County Fairgrounds for the 19th race on Sunday for Diosa Della Donza. Then I'm going to make my way to Northfield Park, where I am going to race Winter Soldier. A couple other horses also will be racing this week. Or this.
Have you got bloods or anything drawn on ones for Sunday?
Yes, they did yesterday.
You said 8 days.
Yes, so I got the 2 drawn. Haley has Love Sensation in Kentucky. I'm going to ask her to draw Coggins on Love Sensation. Actually, didn't we race Love Sensation somewhere?
Yeah.
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
So she would have had to have Coggins down there. So I can get the Coggins from down there and get health papers done. So that's 3. Who were the other 2?
The racehorses.
Which racehorses? J.K. Maga, if he races better this week, will be going to Ontario. I tried to buy a horse yesterday too on Ongate. Melisandre, yeah, she was drawn yesterday.
And
In New York was drawn yesterday. Melisandre was drawn yesterday. We'll get Love Sensations. Coggins, who else?
ACDC.
ACDC has to come in with Carla. She's got to bring ACDC back in. Who's the other? Oh, the Dio horse. So there'll be 5 for sure. And Spitfire might go home also, I believe, this week too. Agent Black now has papers. Those 2 horses will likely qualify next week. I was thinking that Amy McDonald might want to qualify.
Who?
Amy McDonald, have you heard of her? She's an up-and-coming driver.
What horse?
Agent Black.
He qualified last Thursday.
He's never qualified, honey. He never had DNA done. We were waiting for the
You
DNA
asked me
test.
if I wanted to qualify.
Yeah, he wasn't. It wasn't ready in time, and they qualify on Wednesdays, not Thursdays. Agent Black's probably going to train in 2-1 tomorrow, and then qualify on Saturdays or Wednesday. He'll be super tight and ready to rock if you want to go. He's a sweetheart. He's a gigantic animal.
Am I gonna put him on the run?
No, you put him on the run. It should be your last day as qualifying.
I haven't drawn the horse in 3 months.
Yeah, you'll be all right. What did I tell you? I want, at the start of this video, what did I tell you to be in this parking lot? 8:09, and it is 8:08. I have it down to a science. No traffic, no nothing. Look at all the little kids getting into the school.
I had to drop off right here yesterday. I'm like, run.
All the little kids getting into school.
They're not little. They're bigger than you.
They are not bigger than me.
No, they are. There's a kid that's in my that I see in the hallway.
I
He's
hope,
at least 5.
I hope this mullet phase is over by the time Molly gets here.
No, there'll be no mullets in our family. I can assure you of that.
I can assure you it won't be over.
I can assure you.
It's a thing.
Mullets? Yeah, hard no. Joe Dirt. That's who has a mullet. No one else.
Literally Joe Dirt.
Yeah, Google him. That's who can wear a mullet. There'll be nobody coming in our house with a mullet. All right, love you. 8:09. Just see it. I say thanks, Dad. You were right.
And you're going with Nora home, right?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Dad. You were right. Love you. Have a good day.
Oh, that's my shirt.
Is that your shirt on your daughter? No, that's bad. That is so bad. It's really bad that she would do
Look
that.
at all the things that they're wearing. I'm not allowed to wear that. I'm not allowed to wear that.
Honey,
All of these kids are
leave the little girl alone. She can
I'm
wear...
not allowed to wear black jeans. There's 4 people wearing black jeans right
Okay,
there.
honey, you know what? At the end of the day, she's a freshman, is that what it's called? She's a freshman. It's her first year. Let her get settled in. She doesn't want to stick out and have people making fun of her.
Oh, did you notice that she's been wearing the maroon shirt?
Yeah, so it's cool now. The maroon shirts are cool again. We're going to get there at 10:30 or so, which is right on time for what I wanted to be today. Everything has gone right so far.
This video is about nothing.
This video is amazing. It's an amazing video. It has showcased my map skills.
So bad for anyone that's listening.
My map skills. What did I tell you we get there?
Okay, but you haven't talked about horses at all.
It's not true. I did talk about horses. We just talked about Agent Black. We just talked about Delaware. We talked about Diosa della Danza. You can go 1:59 or 2 minutes with him. Oh, if you go any faster than that, you're going to have to drive him because we've only been in 59 with him. So.
No, I just don't want to cut out a mile.
Nah, he's a sweetheart of an animal.
Yeah, remember last time I cut the mile, I went 2.5.
Yeah, just go. Tell you what to do. Just go, let him trot out of there and just go as fast as he wants to go the whole way. And it'll be 59 and 2. How's that? But that's just for now.
Tailgating this person.
I'm not tailgating this person. It is 35. He's doing 21. That's not my fault. So, last night we raced 2 horses. We raced Delicious Stone DK. I did do an earlier video, as I said, and Amy ruined it. She was making fun of my driving, and I decided I was having none of that. I stopped the video and I started it over. So, Delicious Stone DK. I'm going to tell you what. And what I'd said in the previous video was still the truth. This horse, do you remember that his tournament was right down there? Do you remember that stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right down there.
No.
Yes, it was. Right down there. There's the drive-in hot dog place.
The one that Curtis and Jamie came to?
Yes. Yeah, it was right down there. So Delicious Stone DK, here's a horse for a year and a half, kind of plagued us. You know, we bought him. He was no good. He had injury after injury. He had injured a hind suspensory. And I think this is a cautionary tale to everybody. You know, you hear me talk about hind suspensories are a serious problem, right? Something I would much rather a broken bone than especially a trot or tear a suspensory. But Delicious Stone DK did tear a suspensory. We had to rehab him, brought him back. He re-injured it somewhat. We had to rehab him again. We got him ready to go and sent him over to Ontario. His throat, he was making noise. Something was wrong with his throat. We sent him to Ontario initially to get the dynamic scope put on them. What that is a scope they wear when they're training just to see what is going on. What they saw was an entrapment in a rather large ulcer that was starting to cause some paralysis in his palate. So we operated the first time. Remember they operated on the entrapment? Delicious Stone DK. Dr. Cote wanted to do a less invasive procedure. She thought it was best overall to do it that way. It ended up not being as helpful as she thought, and he had to go back in again to get the membrane removed. You remember? And all of this was taking place, and just nothing seemed to be going right, and it was just turning into a very difficult situation with Delicious Stone DK financially and mentally. And we get him back, train him back, and lo and behold, doesn't the horse go to Georgian Downs, find a class that is good for him, raced good all summer, goes to Flamborough Downs. We don't know what's going to happen. I said to Dominic, I said, now that you have an entire meet in front of you instead of the end of the meet, it might be wise to race him in the 25,000 claimer, the class above the 15, because even everybody that watched him race and saw those giant gaps in his schedule and knew that he got injured and knew that he was, that there was something wrong with the horse in the past, at least. They would lay off at Georgian, but they would not lay off at Flamborough. If the horse looked good, sound, and felt good and raced good from what they were looking at, they would grab the horse. So it might make the most sense to start him a time or two in the 25 and see if he could do. He used to do that all the time? I guess I shouldn't say. There was a pretty prominent trainer in Montreal, and what he'd do is he'd claim a horse. He'd race it in the class above, and he would get beat. He would show that he can't do in there, and then he would just jam him, and people would leave him. But they would leave him alone because they were worried that why would I claim the horse off this guy when he already tried to race him in the class above and he couldn't do. And he'd always claim horses that had those injuries, right? Because he was a great horseman and he could keep the horses together. And he would race them. He would claim a horse for 8, get beaten at 10, win at 8, and put the horse in for 7. And people would just leave him alone. And I watched him do it forever. And when it comes to a horse like Delicious Stone DK, what we're trying to do and what we tried to do all summer was take advantage of what we had going for us. Yes, he was injured. That was obvious on the gaping holes in his schedule. And if anybody wants to know, I'd be happy to tell you. He injured his suspensory. He re-injured his suspensory. He had 2 throat operations done. And now he's racing. Here's a horse that has put it all together. If there was a comeback horse of the year in horse racing, it would be Delicious Stone DK. 12 wins. Winner last night, a horse 1-9. He loops them all off the car, controls the race. Austin Sorey drove the horse absolutely perfectly, and he's got along great with this horse all year long. I mean, there's only one guy that got him to go faster all year, and I can't think of his name right now, but oh wait, it was me. But he's
nice and fat too.
He is, and I think, Amy, that was exactly where I was going with this. I think he put a lot of weight on. His stress obviously came down. He put a lot of weight on, and he turned back into the best horse he could be. And that's the whole.
Don't forget his quarter cracks.
Oh, his quarter cracks are so bad. He's another horse. So the mushroom shoes. That's what he still wears. And that leads into obviously Memento Mori, who's in on Monday. I asked Cindy to go and get a set of belly band hobbles from Memento Mori. James thought he'd race well. In fact, James thought he'd race so well in those that he picked off them on Monday. So Jody Jameson is
actually, that actually makes sense because he can go with them.
Well, I've raced him 4 times without the hobbles.
I'm aware.
So the thing with Maury, and this will lead into another little.
He just needs to think they're on, but they're not.
No, he just needs a little help, to be honest. And there's much for the driver as they are for the horse in this regard with him. So Memento Mori is going to start on Monday. The reason we sent Mori over there was, again, like Delicious Stone DK, to be in a little lower stress setting, a change of scenery, and actually hopefully put some weight on him. And that is why he's over there. We've pivoted from trying to make some stakes and do well with Memento Mori and all the hopes and expectations that came with him in his sophomore season. We've pivoted to, okay, now we just have a nice little horse. Doesn't matter he set a world record. It doesn't matter he was a stake winner too. It doesn't matter any of that. What matters is what we do moving forward. So how do we make Maury a better horse? The best horse he can be? Well, let's put the weight on him and hopefully get him in classes that he can do well. And a good place to start that is Ontario. So I don't know what it'd be like on Monday, but it'll be a foundation start for him moving forward. I would for now, but we'll see. I guess that'll be up to them. Now, we talk about pivots and transitions, and that'll lead us to our second starter of the night last night, which was Chicago Hall. Chicago Hall looked flat, finished up flat, did not do his work well last night. And I look back, he's been flat for 4 or 5 starts. This is with breaks in between. I think he's just fallen into a situation where he's raced against horses that are as good as him for a long time, and he needs to find a little class relief. And you know where I'm going with this. He's probably going to come south of the border. We're likely going to race Chicago Hall in. I want to map out a path for him that maximizes his wins. And what I mean by that is you have that condition claimer in Scioto. Now, before you start complaining, the condition claimer, and now that's going to Dayton, is a 40 for non-winners of 6, which is a $60,000 tag, and a 50 for non-winners of 10, which is a $75,000 tag. Both of those prices are fair prices in US dollars for Chicago Hall. He can start there. I did mention New York, and I do have my eye on Yonkers, but I can't send him to Yonkers if he's just kind of blah. We're going to have to fire him back up and bring him back to life. And I think racing in some softer settings here in Northfield, or in Ohio for that matter, will help him do that. So as we start to move some of the horses back to Ontario, we'll move Chicago Hall over here and race him a little bit here. We are going to start bringing back JK Victory over here. We're going to bring back Greatest Ending potentially over here. Also, both those horses were sent to do good work in Ontario, and it just didn't work out in Ontario. Now, I thought Greatest Ending raced very good his last start. First over in 52. The problem being when you're racing for 7,000 Canadian, which is what, 5,200 US, it's a fraction of what he's going to race for over here. And I've also said, I got in a pretty, it wasn't heated, it was very respectful, but an exchange with a couple of our clients last week, making arguments for ladder racing. And at this point, quite frankly, I'm going to have to kind of put my foot down and be as clear as I can. This stable will not participate in middle condition racing this winter if I can help it. Now, if you have a horse that slides a little bit, like Patrick the Piranha did, and moved out of the open, now he's not an open horse anymore. Now, in that transition, us realizing he's not an open horse, there will be a fair amount of that middle condition, that ladder racing I spoke of, but we will not be actively and knowingly participating in that racing. I don't like it. I think it's useless. I think it's at least a 30% waste of your yearly starts. If you have a horse that races in that manner, when he gets up or she gets up high, they can't do in those top classes. You have to wait for him to get beat up to move back down. That's what happened with Abbey Horse. I'm not doing it anymore. And I know that that was very smart, by the way. Pretty sharp right there. Pretty sharp. When it comes to that, there's going to be, listen, I'm happy to have a dialogue with anybody about this. I can see maybe in Dayton where you're racing for a ton of money and you just have a little stable and you want to have your horse is going to get up high and then he's going to get back down. That's fine. But when we're trying to race an active sports team, an active stable, we're not going to be doing that. So we're going to focus on the non-winners of 1 through 10, as we always do, and the top-end horses. Horses in the middle, if they're stuck in the middle and they can't get back up into the top place and we can't find an open place, you might move a horse from Ontario over to the Meadows like we did Looks Like Money, and then boom, all of a sudden you got an open trotter again. That can happen. But if we know we're not keeping a Patrick the Piranha for a year and a half after he's no longer an open horse, is what I don't know who bought them. Somebody it's going back to Maine or Bangor or Plain Ridge, which is fine. But we're not going to be racing those horses. And for those of you out there that disagree with that, that's perfectly fine. To each his own, right? But that will be our model moving forward. We will not be participating in racing middle condition horses unless we absolutely have to, which we don't. So that is a long video about so many things. So many things. How are you feeling, honey? Did you get a chance to look? I looked at all the horses on your list yesterday. You can look at them all.
Oh, you didn't like some of them.
A couple of them I didn't like, but a lot of them I did. You and I, that's the thing is that, and that's a little scary because usually our lists are a little bit different. So if my list is a lot like yours and a lot like Randy's and a lot like Bob's,
A lot like everybody's.
might be a lot like everybody else's. So I don't know. I think there's going to be a number of cracks. Listen, we always have our old stalwarts, our old helpers, the Uncle Peters and What the Hills. You know, you're going to have a lot. I did see a number of Uncle Peters I liked here today. And the reason I joke about that.
Did you look at Bobby's full sister?
No.
Oh, you didn't.
No, that one did not make my list, actually. I don't know where Barberton is. I've never been on this highway before, but pretty nice highway.
It's a nice highway.
Well, it is. There's no potholes and there's no congestion. I don't know any of these places. Mogador? Where the hell is Mogador?
I don't think you're saying that right.
I don't know. It's a pretty simple word. Looks like Mogador to me. Barberton? Oh, here, Akron. Okay, I see where we're at. I know that one. Anyway, we're on our way to Circleville via Akron. This morning, we're going to be getting there about 10:30. The sale will be started, and we will be well into the first portion of that. As I said in my last video, I'm going to pull my pants down a little bit because I'm going to do a video in a minute. My first hip that I'm interested in, hip number 43, Rose Run Sybil. That is an in-range. I think the in-ranges and the ready for monies are going to be tough to acquire today. The good news is that we've had a ton of luck with Uncle Peters and What the Hills in the past, and I don't see any reason why that would change. So, with that, I'm going to let you go. 27 minutes, sink your teeth into that. A McDonald family video from Friday morning to start your weekend. It's going to be a beautiful day here today, and it's going to be hot. And then I'm off to the Meadows to race Tim's horse in the 10th. Looks like money in the 11th. Then we're going back home. I know that Rob and Steve, you change your mind, you do have your makeup case at least. But Rob and Steve are going to Kentucky to look at babies tomorrow. I am done the Kentucky catalog. I completed it last night as my eyes were flickering and I was falling to sleep. I finished the last 11 hips that I had to look at. So I am done all 5 sessions of Kentucky. I'll give it a second pass over the next week or so. We'll get the buckets up to everybody, and we'll make sure that everybody has a very clear view of what we're trying to do as we head into a lot of really cool storylines, actually, in Lexington that you and I will talk about. What's up?
I should do it.
Okay. Do got to get an oil change at some point today. I don't like driving around when my car says it needs an oil change soon. Now, obviously, it's all highway driving. I can tell you what, 3 weeks ago, I got an oil change, and the car says I need another one. So, I hope you guys are having a great start to your weekend. Also, follow along with the sales. The buckets will be locked soon, and I know there'll be a number of people seeking a number of the horses we're looking at. So, you guys know how it works. A lot of people asking about the buckets. The buckets are simple. The buckets are a way for me to gauge financially who wants to be involved and what they're looking to do, and also the people that are interested in participating in purchasing the baby. So in the past, I know, listen, we all know now that we're buying yearlings and a lot of people are going to be interested, but the problem before was I was worried. I would get to the sale and I wouldn't know who was buying the horses and when. It just become an extremely stressful time for me. And that will change, has changed somewhat, and will change somewhat over the coming years. But for now, the buckets are an important part of allowing us to know what we can do and how we can do it as we approach each and every sale. So that's what the buckets are. A lot of people asking when in regards to the buckets at the sale. This in Ohio, I mapped it out. We have, I believe we have some trotting fillies and some flyer buckets. Somebody said, what the hell's a flyer? Well, Flyer is just a horse I look at that maybe people didn't. More or less, if I priced the horse at $28,000 because it was a nice little What the Hill or Uncle Peter or Down by the Seaside or whatever, and it comes in the ring and it stalls at 12 or 13, and I scoop that horse up for 14, I would consider that, one, a value purchase, and two, a bit of a flyer, right? I didn't know if I would buy that horse. Of course, I looked at the horse. I didn't know if I'd buy that horse, but I was certain what the price was that I put on it and bought it for less. So although it wasn't a targeted purchase, I didn't want him number whatever 43. I didn't want him 43, but if 43 came in the ring and went for a lot less, and I would buy the horse, I would consider that sneezing. I would consider that a flyer. So that's where the Flyers come in. That's what they are. That's what they mean to me, and that's why I put them like that. We will be looking for trotting fillies today. We will be looking for the main bucket is just horses that I've targeted. I have 20 horses on a list. I would like to buy the 10 we're going to purchase today inside that list of 20. We'll see if I can do that or not. I'm going to bring you that list of 20 in a minute. And if I can't, we have 51 horses that I have green-lit and said, hey, for the right price, any one of these 51 will do. And that's where we're going to do our business today. So I'm going to be back in a minute. And I'm going to give you, maybe I'll give them the 51 list and not so much the 20 list. That might make more sense. A less targeted view, but a very clear view of what I plan on doing today. So with that, I'm going to let you go. 31 minutes of babbling, McDonald family drama, good driving, wonderful mapping. I'll talk to you all very soon. Have a great day. Follow along the sale. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you soon.